Dear friends, today's topic is conserving your semen for long life. Let's hear Swami Prabhupada what he says about this topic.
And he determined that I shall fight with the Britishers non-violent, without any weapon, because India was dependent, there was no weapon. And several times it was attempted by armed revolution. But these Britishers are more powerfully cut down. So Gandhi, he invented this method that I shall fight with the Britishers, even they become violent, I shall not become violent, so I shall get world sympathy. So this was his plan. He was a great statesman. But his determination was so fixed up because he was a brahmachari. From at the age of 36 years, he gave up. He had his wife, but he gave up his sex life. He was a family man. He had children, he has a wife. But from the age of 36, young man, 36-year-old, he gave up sex life with his wife. That made him so determined that I shall drive away these Britishers from the land of India, and he did it. And he actually did it. So controlling the sex life, to refrain from sex life is so powerful. Even if you don't do anything, if you simply restrain your sex life, you become a very powerful man. People do not know the secret. So anything you do, if you want to do it with determination, you have to stop sex life. That is the secret. So any process, take Vedic process. Either you take yoga process or bhakti process or jnana process, in no process sex indulgence is allowed. No. Sex indulgence is only allowed family life just to beget very nice children. That's all. Sex life is not for sense enjoyment. Although there is enjoyment by nature, unless there is enjoyment, why one should take responsibility of family life? That is the secret of nature's gift. But we should not take advantage of it. These are the secrets of life. These are the secrets of life. So yoga practice, such a nice thing. If you indulge in sex life, this is simply nonsense. Simply nonsense. And if anyone says that you go on with your sex life as much as you like, at the same time you become a yogi, simply pay my fees, I give you some miracle mantra. These are all nonsense.
So that was Swami Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, and his disciple, His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami, says that our sexual desire is simply a perverted reflection of our heart's deepest longings to love Krishna. If we knew this, we would all be happy. But in the darkness of the modern age, it's very difficult to convince anyone that there is anything wrong with sex at all. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement have a great responsibility to somehow or the other give this real knowledge to the people of the world. As Srila Prabhupada said, the Krishna consciousness movement will go down in history as having saved mankind in its darkest hour. By the practice of brahmacharya, longevity, luster, strength, vigor, knowledge, beauty, fame, piety, and devotion to truth will increase. Actual civilization teaches its members to sublimate, which means to kind of control and slow down their sexual desires for higher spiritual purposes. Modern civilization exploits people's sexual cravings, making a business out of it, and sends people to hell by the millions. A householder who has rightly understood the magnitude of sufferings of samsara tries to get rid of the samsaric life, whereas a bachelor full of passion imagines that he is very miserable on account of absence of a wife and children and tries to get married. So you see this dichotomy. A householder who's married is thinking, when should I get out of this? It's a big headache. And a bachelor who's just about to be married is always anticipating the happiness, so called happiness of getting married and enjoying, which is all illusory. It is not there, anyways. Practice of brahmacharya gives good health, inner strength, peace of mind, fortitude, and long life. It helps conserve physical and mental energy, augments memory, willpower, clear thinking, power of concentration, and ability to grasp philosophical subjects. It bestows physical strength, vigor, vitality, courage, boldness, and strength of character. To one who practices brahmacharya, divine knowledge comes as if naturally. And I've seen this with many of the Hare Krishna brahmacharis, monks. They have such deep knowledge, such radiance on their faces. So this is goes without saying. This is very natural. And Bhaktivikas Swami continues, his words convey meaning and authority and leave an impression on the hearers. Conversely, those who do not practice brahmacharya must always remain in illusion. Srila Prabhupada said brahmacharya is very, very essential. When one becomes detestful of sex life, that is the beginning of spiritual life. Without becoming brahmachari, nobody can understand Brahman or spiritual life. Seeing all this, Vaishnavas are sorry. If only people could understand this simple fact. We are all eternal servants of Krishna. And that's the reason I'm making this little video, so that this knowledge can be propagated to my friends and contacts. According to Ayurveda, Sapta Dhatus or seven Dhatus that support this life in the body are: from food, chyle is manufactured, from chyle comes blood, from blood comes flesh, from flesh comes fat, from fat comes bone, from bone comes marrow, out of marrow comes semen. So it is said that 80 drops of blood in Ayurveda are required to make one drop of semen. So if you drop or waste 10 drops, that is 800 drops of blood. And that's why after the act, people feel very weak. How precious is semen? It's the last essence. It's the essence of essences. The virya comes out of the very marrow that lies concealed inside the bones. So semen nourishes the physical body, the heart, and the intellect. A wrestler may control the body, but his heart and mind are not controlled. And so on. An advanced bhakta who dives deep in meditation will have full brahmacharya, even if he does not take to physical exercise. So one drop of semen, as we mentioned earlier, is manufactured out of 40 drops of blood according to modern medical science and 80 according to Ayurveda. So this is a very peculiar property that semen is secreted from the blood, which means it's the essence of the essence. Just like bees collect honey in the honeycomb drop by drop, similarly the cells of the testicles collect semen drop by drop from the blood. And under excitement, when the man sees an image of a woman or a imaginary image, the ejaculatory ducts put that out. So semen is very subtle, right? Just as sugar is all pervading in sugar cane, butter is there in milk, semen is pervading the whole human body. Just as buttermilk is thin after the butter is removed, so also semen is thin by its wastage. The more wastage of semen, the more is the weakness. And therefore the Yoga Shastras say, Maranam bindu patanat, jivanam bindu rakshanat. Falling of semen brings death, preservation of semen gives life. Semen is the real vitality in men. So if you see somebody who is practicing brahmacharya, their faces become very bright. So it is said it imparts Brahma Tejas to the face and strength to the intellect. There are 8 kinds of enjoyment depleting brahmacharya. Just darshan or looking at a woman with a passionate resolve, sparshan or touching them, keli or playing with them, kirtan or praising the qualities of the other sex, guhya vashan or talking in secrecy or privacy, sankalpa or determination to perform the act, adhyavasya or nearing the other opposite sex with desire for gratification, and finally kriyanivriti or the actual sexual act. So one needs to refrain from this as much as possible. The Western science also supports it. In a pure and orderly life, this matter is reabsorbed, which is the semen. It goes back into circulation, ready to form the finest brain, nerve, and muscular tissues. If wasted, it leaves a person effeminate, means more and lacking in manly qualities, weak and physically debilitated, means further weakened, and prone to sexual irritation and disordered function, a wretched nervous system, epilepsy, and various other diseases and death. It's also said that whenever the seminal secretions are conserved and thereby reabsorbed into the system, it goes towards enriching the blood and strengthening the brain. So, strength of body, vigor, and mind, and keenness of intellect are developed by this process. All waste of spermatic secretions, whether voluntary or involuntary, is a direct waste of the life force, prana. It's almost universally conceded that the choicest element of blood enters into composition of the spermatic secretion, which means the best part of the blood goes there. So we need to control semen loss and prolong our spiritual life by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hope you have found something useful in this, and please follow up on this and make your life successful. Hare Krishna.